Hi folks, Bird Dog John here with another quick little tutorial. Sometimes we get requests from folks who just want to connect the keyboard to their new camera and get rolling with whatever protocols they have and however they have it integrated. And sometimes they don't want to get involved in the network side just yet. Maybe they're getting ready to install a bigger NDI network and they've bought the keyboard and the cameras and they're just trying to get up and running for this week's production. Well, there are some ways to connect the keyboard and the camera together that don't require a network. And so today we're going to avoid the entire network conversation and just talk about the VISCA protocol. And in particular, we're going to talk about the RS-422 protocol. So there's a couple things you're going to need. First, you're going to want to have a factory reset keyboard, which I'll show you here in a second, and your P200. And the P200, for this case, but this also applies to other cameras, is you have to set it up so that it will talk the RS-422 protocol, but also have the correct baud rate and the camera number so that it will portray that information to the control surface that you're using. So I'm going to switch over here to an overhead camera that I have set up, and I just want to show you the bottom of this camera. You'll notice that there's a little set of dip switches here, and they're labeled 1 through 8 from left to right. Those dip switches by default are set to, all of them are set to off except for number 8. 8 is on. For today's demonstration and for your purposes, you're going to want to turn on dip switch number 1, which is the camera address, which is camera 1, and you want to turn on number 6, which is the VISCA 422 protocol. So once you get those two things on, you can put your camera on the table and you can take a regular Ethernet cable, 5E or Cat6, whatever you've got, and plug it into the 422 port that's on the back of the camera. And then take your external power, since we don't have PoE in this scenario, and plug it in. And the camera will do its little boot up dance that it normally does, and we'll get ready to go. The other side of that Ethernet cable, we want to take and plug it into the first, if you're looking at it from the front, left to right, port number 1. You're going to want to plug it into there, which is labeled RS-422A. And so that is where we're going to control directly our camera from the 422 port on the camera to the 422 port on the keyboard. Okay, so now I've got everything plugged in and I powered on my keyboard. And so now she's sitting at the home screen, factory defaulted and ready to roll. So let's go over, and I'll just bring this in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm up to. And we have, just like I said, a blank slate. I'm going to press the setup button. And I'm going to put in our super secret password, which by default is just 4 zeros. You can change that in the keyboard settings if you need to for some reason. But now we're going to go to camera settings and click the LR direction knob. And then we're going to scroll to the camera that we selected. So that's cam 1, remember, because dip switch 1, cam 1. And then we're going to go down to protocol and make sure that this is selected to VISCA. Now, be careful that it's not VISCA IP, because that's actually something different. And we want to be very specific when we're talking about RS-422 or 232. Those are VISCA protocols, and we want to be sure that it says VISCA on our screen. So we're going to click the LR knob. Now, it's going to ask us what baud rate we set on the camera. And dip switch 8 is in the on position, which means that it's running at 9600. So we want to change this down to 9600. Make sure that the keyboard is sending the correct bit rate, baud rate, I beg your pardon, to the camera. And then we're going to go to port and change this to 422. And what that means is the commands from the keyboard are going to go out the 422 port. So we'll hit the LR and go down to exit and back to the main menu. And now I'm going to exit out of there, and it's going to take me to this back to the home menu. And I'll back this out here a little bit so that you can see. And when I push the joystick, we actually do get commands to turn left, right, and up and down. So the good news is I can't actually demonstrate the zoom, but that is also working. But we just want to, it's a little bit slow, but that's because my zoom speed is slow. There it goes. So the rocker does work, the joystick is working, and it's a fairly simple protocol to set up. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, you may want to do this because you don't have the network ready, or maybe you're future-proofing for NDI, and right now for this week's show, you just got to get up and running. You could use a direct connection with an Ethernet cable and plug into a camera and get it up and running. But if you're plugging in multiple cameras on the 422 protocol or the 232 protocol, you're going to want to consult the actual manual that came with the keyboard and camera to figure out which dip switches, what position the address dip switches need to be in, and also then how to add multiple cameras to the same controller. So that gets a little bit more tricky, but this in general will get you up and running, will give you control of your camera over the 422 without needing any sort of network infrastructure in its place. So, all right, I hope that's been helpful. We try to be really quick and easy on these things. Reach out to us at help@bird-dog.tv if you have any additional questions, and have a great time playing around with your camera on that 422 protocol. Take care. We'll see you next time.